Peace, 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 peace. This video is going to be a little bit different for what my channel normally talks about, but I feel like this is still within the confines of what I like to speak on my channel, my content. For all those who've always tuned in over the last 7-8 years, welcome. To all those new ears who are here because of the title, welcome. I hope I can keep your attention. But this video is going to be called NBA 2K25 Modern Gaming and the Modern Gaming Consumer Matrix. Alright, now a lot of you guys are listening, you're like, what is he talking about? Well, you're talking to somebody. First of all, I've probably been playing games since Atari, since I was a young kid. Video games have always been a part of my life. I'm 40 years old. All my friends, for the most part, still play video games, even the ones with kids that are married. This is just a part of culture at this point. So for people saying video games are for young guys or old guys, it's not. It's culture, right? These basketball games and Mario Brothers and Nintendo and Sega Genesis, all of these things are just parts of a culture. They're timestamps to your youth when things were changing. You saw the progression of technology within the confines of the system. It was like a timeline from Atari to Nintendo to Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, then PlayStation and Xbox, and now with the current gen, which I think is current gen, of PS5 and Xbox Series S, I think it's called, the Xbox One. These were timestamps, right? You remember these when these systems came out. You remember the hype. You remember the games. You remember the change in graphics. How certain games got better and more fluid, and you know it's these are moments, right? So we all share this, even if you're 15 now, or you're 21, or you're 30, or you're 40, whatever. You have different timestamps for yourself as well. Now, when I was coming up, I remember, certain times it wasn't as easy to get all the games you want. You had to wait till around Christmas time and stuff like that, and you play these games end on end with your friends before the online became a thing. You invite your friends over and y'all would play. A lot of us remember the classic game, GoldenEye. It was like the first FPS shooter. You would play with your friends as these different agents, and you would get on the game, all four of you on one screen, and play, or you would, this game is a classic, and that game would burn countless hours because it was so fun. And a lot of other games, they were just fun. You had a lot of series that came out. Madden, NBA Live when it first came out, Bulls versus Blazers, Madden, Tecmo Bowl. A lot of these games, the sports games that started to, over the years, these games been out 20 years, even longer for some, right? A lot of EA games. But there was a certain fun factor that was there. It was always a business, but now it's something about the modern gaming business that has become so scummy. I don't know what word to make about it. It's so dirty and just despicable how these companies are starting to conduct themselves. And we're not just talking about sports games, we're talking about games in general. A lot of these games, especially since online and the ability to update games as they are already released. I come from a time when if a game came out and people bought it, before GameStop, and let's drink some water. We're talking about matrices here, right? We're talking about different kinds of levels of veil, things that hide and mask the truth of how things work. When GameStop was a thing, right? When buying your games physically was a thing, these companies and these gaming companies had to be held accountable for their products, right? Because once the game was out, that was it. It was either good or it wasn't. And people were either returning the game to the store and you were losing that sale, they were exchanging it for another, and that's how a lot of companies would drop one game and you never hear from them again because the sales were bad and people just didn't want it. They returned it. That was it, right? So now a lot of these companies, these gaming companies, they rely on the fact that companies like GameStop are not the go-to, right? They wanted to make sure that the games could be downloaded and they could be these you don't own the game. It's kind of like you're renting it now, right? So now they can update the game. You can't return the games that you buy online. You can't exchange it for another game. The sale is final, and a lot of these companies, they like to boast about their sales. They like to boast about, their IPOs and the fact that these are big companies, 2K, Take-Two Interactive, Rockstar, whoever you want to call it, Activision, any one of these big gaming companies, Bethesda, they brag about their sales. But when a lot of your sales are online, people can't return the game. Doesn't mean people like the game. That's why a lot of these games suffer by the reviews, how people talk about them, because people have to be able to speak on these games, because once you buy it, it's done, right? You can't return it. So we're talking about a game like NBA 2K, all right? Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this video. I've played every NBA 2K game pretty much since the beginning. 2K1, when Allen Iverson was on the cover. I remember playing that game for the first time, being somebody who played NBA Live, and it was a good game. NBA 2Ks were very constant around that time when people started playing them. I think I was in college. I was around 20, so I'm a grown man, you know what I'm saying, playing this game. I'm not a kid. So keep that in mind. This game came out when I was around college, 2K20. So I was a grown man. We were 21, 22 when 2K first came out. So a lot of you guys are playing the game now, 2K24, you're 22 or you're 18. Just remember, I'm talking about the beginning of the game. So just run it down. NBA 2K was always constantly at battle with NBA Live. It was either one or the other, or you either got both. And it was other basketball games besides that. It was a great time for the basketball sports gaming genre, right? It was so many options. If you didn't like one game, you could play the other games. Usually if you didn't have that, your friend had it. Y'all could trade games. It was a whole lot going on. Your boy didn't like 2K. He liked Live. You bought it. Oh, well, all right. It was always an option, right? It was never this monopoly on basketball. Never. It was never a monopoly on a basketball game. It just doesn't make sense, right? It was always, from what I remember, we would play tournaments in our dorms, and keep score. It was so much fun playing 2K. The competition, and I'm fast forwarding 2K1, 2K8, 9, 10. I can remember these times of playing these games with my friends, and this was before, online was a thing. Remember, that's recent. And 2K, it never was something where you had to really start nitpicking at the game. It was never really a bad 2K for a good while. They were all, Live was decent, 2K was decent. You just had a choice. And if you didn't really like it or you didn't play it that much, it didn't even matter because you could play something else. So it never was a time where people had to really dissect the game the way they do now, because the game was only $20 back in the day. 2K was $20 for a long time. Anybody that remembers playing 2K, that game was cheaper. So it didn't really give you all of that feeling to where you got to break the game down to the molecule, because it was only $20. It was cheap. It was like, oh, whatever. If it's just not good. So 2K got by for a long time without being really criticized, because it was a cheap, discounted game, but it was good. So you felt like you were getting more for your money. Even if it was the mid to level 2Ks, it never got really scrutinized because, again, the price point was so good, right? NBA Live was a little more expensive. It got more scrutiny, and that scrutiny became its downfall, right? Because it cost more, so eventually people started playing NBA 2K more, and the games were pretty much getting equal. And then I think it was around 2K14, 2K13, 2K14 where NBA 2K made like a massive jump to the quality of the game, where it was almost like NBA Live seemed like they just didn't know what to do. I don't know if that was around the time Mike Wang switched games or whatever. He moved from 2K. I don't even remember. I know he used to work for EA and then he ended up working for 2K. But I just remember 2K, I think 2K14, when they showed like the new graphics with LeBron and all of that when he was on Miami, it was like a whole new game. But 2K11 was good with Jordan, I think. So there was a point when 2K, elevated beyond NBA Live, right? And not saying NBA Live is totally horrible. Some people still play NBA Live 19. They still enjoy it, for what it is. And that's fine. We don't care. So when we're talking about NBA 2K now, where NBA 2K25, and then, NBA 2K introduced a lot of new things, the microtransactions, the online purchases became a big thing once Fortnite came out. It just became a modern gaming consumer tidal wave, right? Where video games were going into this price bracket that was just unheard of. Fortnite, billions of dollars after the game was bought. That is literally unheard of, right? So everybody jumped on the bandwagon. They want a piece of this pie, which is understandable. It's a consumer market. But within these consumer markets, you have like these matrices where the company in and of itself, it creates this culture to where people who don't like the certain way the game is being played or delivered or how the company is doing it, people that support the game, they defend the game. So then when there are people that see things that aren't right, it's almost like their opinions get doused, they get extinguished, because the culture finds a way to shame people for critiquing the game they support. That's something that's very prominent in gaming, right? Call of Duty, people that try to call out Call of Duty, they got people that, it's almost like they have buzzwords and buzz titles for these people. Get good, all of these type of things people say, these little bot NPC responses. Get good. When someone tries to, that comes from the Call of Duty world, right? When people talk about, the game being RNG and certain things seem to be like scripted, and the game is using these algorithms to force you to spend money, and it's nerfing players and buffing players to keep people on the game, right? Because the more people that are playing the game at one time, it looks good to these investors, right? They want to keep people engaged, so they want to they don't want a person to go out there and just lose and then they don't want to play anymore, right? So it's like they balance the game. Dynamic game balance, and this is real stuff, right? So but those people that call that out, they have ways to like defend it, right? The culture creates it. And NBA 2K, as we know, has one of probably, if not one of the most toxic gaming communities I've ever seen, right? We don't even have to talk about how toxic it is, but within that toxicity, there's a matrix of the thinking that surrounds the game, right? So when someone talks about NBA 2K, now we're getting to current times, right? We're talking about next gen, we're talking about PS5, right? And I believe the PlayStation 5 is decent, but it could be better, right? Let's be fair. It's not like a big... Now, there are great games on PS5, right? Great games who graphically, the story, everything is amazing, right? Some games, I think, is sports games in next gen have probably been the worst sports games that have ever been made. Next generation, PS5, the new Xbox, these are the worst sports games that have come out. And I have a couple of reasons why. There's a couple of reasons why, right? Sports in NBA, NFL, these games are connected directly to these conglomerates, right? The NBA, the NFL, these big multi-billion-dollar conglomerate companies, entertainment companies, right? So these games are a reflection of these big giant companies. So these games are connected, they're licensed, so they gotta reflect the business, right? So when you think about it, Next gen gave these games more opportunity to reflect the business, to become bigger, to become more expansive. But what they did not think about, and this is where these games got bad, is that they did not consider using the power of the PS5 to pull all of the resources to make some of the most fluid playing, excellent, amazingly looking, presentation wise, just depth in every category possible game you can make. They did not use it. They misused the PS5 and instead, or the Xbox, whatever you want to just, they used it to use the space and the size of the game to fit more monetization strategy in the game, not gameplay. Gameplay is less than 50% of the game at this point. The size of the game, if you look at it, NBA 2K is 179 gigabytes, if I'm not mistaken. 179 gigabyte game, right? How much of that game of that size do you think is really them using to make the game great? Or how much of it is they're trying to make the game bigger to justify the price, right? The game size, they use the size of the game to justify the price. They bloat the game. It's bloated. College Football 25 is 30 gigs. 30 gigs. I was actually shocked that it was so small, right? Because it's just the game. That's it. There's no extra stuff in it. It's an old school approach to a game. That's why people liked it so much. It got an old school approach to the game where it's just the game. We wanted to make a great football game and we're just going to leave it at that. None extra. That's how much 2K25 should be. No more than 60, maybe 70 gigs, right? If it was just basketball. Ghost of Tsushima is 100 gigs, right? Amazing game. You can literally see the grass moving when the wind blows. You know, sunsets, great. It's beautiful, right? Cyberpunk, which came out kind of iffy, but now the game is a legit masterpiece to me. Probably one of my favorite games I've ever played in my life, right? Cyberpunk is 100. The DLC Phantom Liberty is only 25. This game is amazing, right? The city, the lights, the layout, the size, the mass of it is only 100. 2K25 is 179. Both of those games put together are 200 gigabytes. NBA 2K24 is almost the same size as both of those games. That's bloat. That is not needed, right? They made the game huge. They added the city for the simple fact that it would justify the price point. 2K was the first game to jump to $70. They need to justify why this game costs so much. And the reason 2K gets the scrutiny it gets the backlash it gets, because the game can never satisfy or justify the amount of money it costs, or that you have the ability to spend in this game. It will never live up to the price point, for the simple fact, like, for example, if you bought a BMW 5 Series, right? You know what you're getting, right? You know the price. I don't know how much that costs. What, $100,000 for a 5 Series, if I'm wrong, a Mercedes-Benz, any car you want to name that has a quality to it, that has a name, a reputable name, right? Whatever you want to call it. You can look at, let's say Nissan. Let's say Nissan. A Nissan Altima or a Honda Civic, right? Or a Honda Accord. These are usually very reliable cars, right? Very reliable. People get them as their first car, their starter car. You know, it doesn't have a lot of problems. They're easy to maintain, and they have a decent price point. Whereas it justifies the price of the car for what you get. If a Honda Accord was $90,000, there'd be no justification for the price compared to the car itself, right? It wouldn't make any sense. So we're talking about 2K. Even if you put rims on it, you put lights on the bottom, you could put all these colors. Now, of course, a lot of the parts aftermarket could bring the price of a car up, right? But it's still at the same point, it doesn't justify the price, right? You can't make a person who buys a Range Rover every year, right, and justify, if you put all the money you could in a Honda Accord to make it the same price as far as all the parts, aftermarket customizations, to be the same price as a 2025 or 2026 Range Rover Sport. You couldn't put that car in front of that person and convince them to buy it. If they were used to buying Mercedes-Benzes, Porsches or Range Rovers, and you could put this colorful ass Need for Speed fucking Honda Accord in front of them and make them say this car is worth the same amount, and they would tell you, get out of my face. I don't even care what you did to that. It's just bloat. It's just extra. This is quality here, right? You see my point? So 2K is trying to justify the price point. Very difficult to do when you have a game that has been out so long, right? And that people literally go online and talk about how they spent thousands of dollars to play a game that is full price. After the game, you pay more money to get the game, to get a player, all of these things. Now, you don't have to do this. But here's where we talk about the consumer matrix, the culture. 2K's culture has a lot to do with why people, they try to justify it. It's like if you have a problem with anything in today's day, it's like it gotta be something wrong with you, not the product. That's the consumer matrix I'm talking about. You can't have a problem with something. It's something wrong with you. You can't see what's right in front of your face. People trying to piss on you and tell you it's rain, right? The sky is purple when you see it's blue. People tell you, you be like, this game costs way too much bread. This doesn't make any sense. What people say, oh, you broke. If you broke, just say that. See, and that's the thing that has to do with a lot. That's like culture now. People don't really try to understand how things work with money in general, right? And when you have that, you have companies like 2K or Take-Two or any one of these big gaming companies. Everything nowadays, and a lot of people tell you, especially a lot of you younger guys is listening to this, a lot of us older people tell you, like, things used to be higher quality back in the day. Like, people wanted to give you good things for your money. Now everybody's trying to give you garbage or low quality to mid-tier quality, but put a premium price on it, right? You can see that with movies, music. Everything's quality has went down, right? I remember back in the day when people make a music video, it'd be like $1 million music video back in the day. Literally, these were the price points of music videos. Now, motherfuckers will shoot a music video with their cell phone, like movies. Everybody keeps cycling the same movies and try to just churn out movies just to get a quick buck, just low quality, poorly written, bad acting, throw some CGI on it, throw Marvel on it, throw whatever, and then they just vomit out another movie. And it's like, I'm supposed to, okay, another one. And it's crap, right? And that's why companies like Disney, all these companies in the toilet, because they've been shoveling garbage for the last 5-8 years, biting off a good moment and trying to run it into the ground. So basically, what I'm saying is like 2K's, right? The toxicity of people, right? When you try to tell somebody, this game has fallen off. A lot of you guys don't even remember when 2K was good. You don't even have a memory of that. The games don't even exist anymore. You have to go through a bargain bin or some retro store to even find some of these games, and you can't even play them unless you got an old system, right? Like, a lot of people they think that, putting out garbage and putting a premium price on it. Like, you ever see how you go on Instagram or you look at all these restaurants, right? And they go out of their way to create these restaurants that have this premium look to it, right? I know a lot of you can attest to this. You live in New York, LA, Atlanta, some of these, Miami, wherever you want to call it. A lot of these places have like these Instagram ready restaurants where people can shoot content and it looks a lot. You can take a lot of pictures and it's just this buzzing restaurant online. It's TikTok viral restaurant or whatever, and then everybody goes there and the food is garbage. The service is terrible. Your steak is trash. The food just looks like something, but it tastes like garbage. Compared to the mom and pop's place that actually puts care and love in their product. We're just talking about products, consumers, quality. This is where we're at in the video. I'm just trying to preface that to understand that we're in an era where everybody's trying to put a premium price on trash or recycled trash. You know what I mean? And what I will say about 2K24, it is not completely garbage. You know what I mean? It's in the realm of trash. And the reason why is because if 2K24 was $20, right? And I say a build was back in the prime days, what was it, $20 to get a build to like a high level? $20 per build. They never lost that ethics. They kept their ethics, right? We're talking ethical 2K. The game was $20, the build is $20. Everything was pretty much moderate and chill price wise. People would give 2K a lot more leniency. They get a lot more, okay, it's that people will take it for what it is. That's what I'm trying to explain. People would take 2K for what it is. Like, it's cool, for what it is, I enjoy it. But when you put a premium, it's beyond premium at this point, price point on a game like that, now you're making it feel like trash because people feel like they're getting duped. They're feeling like you got over on them. That's the problem. People feeling like they're not getting the best for their dollar. 2K doesn't respect your money. And that's where you have a problem where these companies and these restaurants, they be grand opening, grand closing. Because they'll get people hyped and they'll come in there and they treat the customers like garbage. Nobody can cook. The food is cold. It comes to you 40 minutes later. They got a bad environment. They got raggedy people in there. There's no parking. You got to pay for parking. And then after a while, they'll get that initial wave of people, but they won't keep anybody. The restaurant will be around for 8 months, 1 year, 2 years, and it's gone. But then the mom and pop's restaurant been around for 15, 20, 30 years. Because they actually put quality into what they make, right? 2K is way past that point. They're trying to find ways to remarket, reskin, reshape, and put the same game together over and over like Mr. Potato Head, like Frankenstein. They're sewing together bits and pieces of old games, and hopefully you won't notice by the time, they have to put in their share marketing, statistics to the investors. They won't even care about all the critiques they get from IGN, whoever, because at that point they already got your money. That's how people feel in modern gaming. That's how these companies approach game design, game creation. They're approaching it from the mentality of, we already got your money. And now at this point we can just patch, update, do what we want, mess the game up, break the game. We already got your money, right? Because a lot of you guys, you're not buying the games physically anymore, right? It's not like you're going to buy 2K from Walmart. A lot of y'all buying 2K from GameStop, wherever people buy games from. These places are existing. Brick and mortar stores are disappearing, right? And what that does to the consumer, this is another matrix. What this does to consumers is it disallows consumers the ability to fight with their wallets, right? Because once you buy something, you're stuck with it. You know what I mean? You can't return games on PS5. Once you download them, which is messed up, right? If you think about it, you bought a game, it's stuck. You know how many of you guys got games that are literally on your system that you played for 2 hours and was like, this sucks, and now you're stuck with it and you done paid for it. When back in the day, you would take that game back to GameStop. I would literally go back to GameStop and return games for credit until I got a good game. You understand? And I think they let you do it up to 7 days, and you didn't have to support that game if it was trash, right? Now you're stuck with it. And the gaming companies feel like at this point, they can literally do what they want. Then you add on top of that, 2K literally has a legit a matrix monopoly on basketball. Because their biggest thing is getting the game in your hands once they know you bought it. And that's why everything is about, they want to make it where, like, you know, they create this aura of like, this is the one. You know, this is the game where, you know, they got the big buzzwords, they got the big letters in big bold, 9,000 animations. They, you know, we listened and we changed all this stuff. We you know, we did everything you ever asked of us this time. Not last time, not the time before, but this time. And if you buy the game early, you know, before we even show anything, as a show of faith in our company, we promise you that 4 months later we'll get the game right and it'll be finished, right? But we'll give you early access. Early access, another buzzword. Yeah, because we'll give you 2 days early. Okay, 2 days, big deal. When probably the real day the game was supposed to come out was on the 4th. They can change and flip that all they want, right? And then they just make it seem like, you know, they pre-plan this stuff. They have very intelligent people creating these marketing plans, right? You know, they probably had early gameplay access in the back of their minds. Like, they knew that they were gonna maybe pull that ace depending on certain things, that they already knew they had a real date and they had an early release date, but they were going to push that so that people would think that they get in the game early when that's really the day the game will come out. You see what I'm saying? So you feel like you want to pre-order. It makes you feel like it's worth it. So, because they can't sell you with VC no more, because VC prices are up, way up, down. It doesn't value the same way. So for them to say, if we got a pre-order and it's 100,000 VC, the value of the VC isn't the same. How is 100 VC? What is the value compared to my actual real money? And that's something that you have to consider. A lot of y'all got real lives, real responsibilities. What's the value of the VC compared to your real money when it does count? Especially even the smaller things that you buy within the game have prices compared to real money. And if you had to use real, if a t-shirt in Swags had a real USD price on it and not VC, a lot of you guys would be walking around in brown t-shirts and gray shorts. If a t-shirt, if they got Palm Angels in there, right? Or whatever cost, t-shirt 25,000 VC. If you really looked at that and it said $5, you might look at it differently. You might think differently about spending that, because you will compare that to something you could spend it on in real life, right? They don't want you to make that comparison logically in your mind. Because you can't make a comparison to like what you can spend 3,000 VC on in real life, because what the fuck, you can't use VC to buy shit outside of the game. But if it was actually what it was, if you seen the actual money go up as you upgraded an attribute, and you saw it go from $0 to $5 to 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, as you was moving up shooting of your 3-point stat, you would think twice about it. You'd be like, whoa. You see what I'm saying? The consumer matrix. Gaming has very intelligent people behind them. Don't think that the people that make 2K are dumb. They're not. These are very intelligent people. Very intelligent people that design the game to play a certain way. We're going to enter another matrix now. Keep coming with me. Keep following me. They design the game in a certain way to play a certain way, to keep you in certain emotional states to where you will either continue the game, you will spend some money to be successful at the game, you be frustrated. They know that when people get frustrated, they get emotional, they want to solve a problem. And then 2K is looking at you like, spend more money. Just buy more VC, make another build. Maybe just because you made a shooting guard, you can't shoot. Okay, well, just don't worry about the fact that we patched shooting and we made shooting weird. Don't worry about that. Just make a center. Just spend more money. Make another. Oh, you don't like being a center. Oh, the inside defense doesn't make sense. And all right, okay, cool. We'll make a power forward. Make a small, and then you just keep going down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out how to be successful at the game when the game is manipulating you the whole time, right? It's doing you like a puppet master. It's on purpose. When you play My Career and you see how bad the gameplay is, and you're like, why is my teammate so horrible? You know what I mean? Why when I get past the dude is he warping back in front of me? Why are these guys warping to passes and warping through my body? Everybody's warping and sliding and flying all over the place without their feet moving, like they're sliding on ice to get it. It's like this is PlayStation 5, and you telling me this is a part of a next gen basketball game? The computer AI is so horrible on NBA 2K24. It's almost like it has to be on purpose, right? To make the game so unenjoyable by yourself that it forces you to enter into the online domain and compete against others and be caught in that never-ending cycle of trying to make the build that's going to get you, well, so you're playing against the AI, and you see 2K talk about pro play and how they got all of these moves that they capture from in-game footage to make real game and make it look real and make it look, and you're like, oh, okay, they got me, they got you, they got everybody with that one, right? But then you play the game and you watching an AI computer dribble into your chest multiple times, like a robot little wind-up toy walking into a wall over and over until it somehow warps around you. The computer literally does no pro play moves. It does no step backs, no spin shots. It literally uses none of the pro play, right? You figure that's part of it, right? Don't make the AI where I can just use it. Make it where the AI uses it. And the game looks fun and I will enjoy playing it for what it is, right? You got all of these quests and things to do offline. You can play My Career by yourself and play the season, and you make the gameplay so bad on purpose, mind you, right? They adjust the sliders to a certain point to make the game feel a certain way to you, to where you be like, man, I can't do this. Let me just go play park. Let me go to the rec. Let me go to the theater, because they're designing it that way. Because 2K's AI were better in other games. You can play the computer. Yeah, they do cheesy stuff. Yeah, they do cheating ass stuff. Yeah, it's part of the game, but they will at least play. They made the AI so bad because they want you frustrated. They want you to always be at a situation where you're at a loss, where you don't feel like you're getting the most out of your build. And a lot of times the build you have, you never get the full, it seems like you never get the full potential out of a build, because if you did, why would you need to have to buy like Gatorade? Why would you need to have to do all of these things to get your attributes up to be, I guess, efficient in a certain part of the player skill for a short time? It's always for a short time, right? It's never permanent, right? You buy Gatorade for 10 games to get fully, your players never fully where his potential is for some reason. It's always some badges that's not up. It's always something to keep you chasing that dragon. So you got to always keep in mind, these people, when it comes down to you spending your money, they feel like, think about how crazy this is. They feel like it's completely justified for them to charge you full price for a game that they're going to continue to develop after it's been released. You understand? Just think about that. The game, when it drops, 2K25 is not going to be done. It's not going to be done until what, January, February, when they stop caring? So you're paying full price for a game that is probably what, 65, 70% done. It's only good enough to sell. That's where they're at. You understand? They don't sell the game when it's done. They sell the game when it's good enough to sell, where where it's somewhat playable, right? And then they can fix all the blunders. You're basically beta testing the game. You're basically paying full price plus the price of admission to get a build or whatever y'all do to beta test 2K25. That's what you're doing. I need you to be very clear in this. Everything that you're doing when the game first comes out is beta testing, right? And based on the opinions of the people that they listen to that are also beta testing the game is where the game is going to go. The game is not going to be what it starts out as 2 months down the line. That's why it's always weird. And then a lot of people at this point are saying they're not going to buy the game. And if they are going to get it, they're going to get it discounted or free on Game Pass, whatever people do, right? Because people are starting to wake up to these matrices. They starting to realize these gaming companies don't give a damn. The gaming industry at this point is probably, if not one of the scummiest, scammiest industries on the map right now, because there's no checks and balances at all. There's no consumer protection. They can literally do anything they want at any time, right? So you sitting there wondering like why are these companies going? They're like pushing the envelope further and further, and it's like they don't care. You know why they don't? Because there's nobody that's going to check them. There's no lawsuits being filed. They have no rules. You understand? They have no rules. And this is where you as a consumer, you have to think. You have to free your mind. You have to be a free thinker. You can't let people shame you into criticizing the messed up business practices of a company like NBA Take-Two Interactive. Because all you do when you do this, all people want to tell you, oh, get good. That's because you're getting dropped off. Oh, because you're not good. We're talking about, and I'm talking to you like you grown, mature, thinking, intelligent people, right? You know, a lot of the people that you're playing against in 2K is like them little foul mouth kids that you see out in the neighborhood that curse a lot, and they ain't got no coof, they ain't got no respect, and they just talk crazy to everybody. 13, 14, think they know everything. These are a lot of the kids that be typing these comments when you make a critical analysis of the game and they say some disrespectful, just off kilt. Those are the ones you talking about. The little kids that just like little foul mouth, not raised, fatherless little weird kids, But that's another subject, right? That's a whole another subject, right? These, like the cats that that get on 2K and they play the game with like zero integrity. Like dudes had to literally make like something called ethical buckets, like where dudes just like play the game how it's designed to be played, not try to break it, and be like no integrity when it comes to how they play the game, right? And that's where the line gets divided for a lot of people when they play. Like a lot of people just start playing my errors and they just realize, I'm gonna just play the game for what it is, because the community that comes with 2K is just so horrible, right? The people that create the culture of the game, which is the consumers, right? The community makes the game unplayable to most people, right? It's not the game itself, it's how people choose to play it. You know what I mean? There's people, like, I didn't realize this, but there's people that literally they get on games and find ways to break the mechanics of a game. People do it in Call of Duty all the time. All the stuff that a lot of things that people do normally in Call of Duty, these things weren't designed to be done. You understand? But there's people that just, that's what they want to do. And then they go online and they tell everybody else how to do it. And then the game becomes this broken, repetitive, meta garbage that is like, it makes you just not want to play. Like all of my friends that have been playing 2K for the longest, all of them was done with 2K24 within a month. You understand? And 2K, because it's so greedy, that's the word we can use, they don't really emphasize the single player experience. They don't care about that. They only care about the online game. You understand? You can play My Errors, and My Errors is pretty good, especially once you. And here's the thing. Here's the matrix, another matrix. A lot of people, they want to create these builds, but they have this desire to want to play against other people, even though the community is trash. The rec is usually a horrible experience for the most part. Trying to find teammates is a headache and all of this stuff, and it just becomes to the point where the vast majority of people are playing the game by themselves, right? Or they're playing the game offline, My Career, just to get a game. They want to create a build, and it's like you literally can create, go to settings, create a player, give them all the SIGs, all the attributes you want, all the clothes, any sneakers you want, and then you could just import them into a My Errors and play for free. And you can literally, what I do, I literally make multiple players. I make multiple builds for free, and I put them on different teams. And I'll be like, oh, I'm about to play against the other build that I played to see how good, you know what I'm saying? Create their tendencies and all that stuff. But a lot of y'all cats y'all think that that's whack, right? That makes me trash because I do that. Like, here's the thing. Like, things like that, people always calling everybody trash at 2K. Like, it's a thing. Like, it matters. Like, you suck at this game, right? But that negates any critique of the game you have. That literally makes zero sense, right? Because what is really good on 2K at this point? Who is really good? Who is really skilled at NBA 2K? Now, is there certain people that I see and be like, he's good? You know what I mean? Yeah, he's decent, but it's rare. And we can mostly say that. Yeah, there might be a dude you playing rec that's making a lot of threes. He's on, but I've rarely seen people that I was like, wow, this guy is really disgusting good. You know what I mean? Probably 2 or 3 dudes that I've played in the rec where I was like, this guy is cracked, right? But not a lot. Most people are just doing the same moves. They just good at doing what is meta, right? That doesn't make you good at the game because you're playing you're playing the meta, which is just doing what works. So that doesn't make you really good. I'm talking about guys who's using their own moves, doing their own thing, and just effective at being creative with the games, with the freeness that the game actually gives you to be creative when you're making a build that doesn't play or look like anybody else's build, right? So who's really good when you go to the park? Who's really good? You see the guy that can score, but what is he doing? He got 2 lockdowns and they basically just screening him 100 times so he could dribble left and right until he gets open and make a 3. Does that make him good? Or does that just make him meta? You see what I'm saying? So who's really good at the game anyway? So saying somebody's trash is completely relative. Because it's like either people play it at their leisure, or they play it to be competitive, or they play it every once in a while but they're decent. At the end of the day, the game is already like scripted half the time. The momentum, all of these things are scripted. How many shots go in, who can't make a shot, who can. So it's like people are good one game. You might see somebody be good one game and then they suck the next game. You see what I'm saying? So let's not get hung up on that. Let's be more accurate about, because if a game is $70 with a game pass, battle pass, $100 a build, $100 a build, And the game is 179 gigabytes, probably going to be more. Let's keep this real. 2K within itself is a matrix. Once you buy the game, you turn the game on, you're entering 2K's matrix, their world. That's what video games are. They're about immersing you in a make-believe world where you can be a wizard, you can be a ninja, you can be a soldier on the front lines, you can be all the things you can be in a video game, right? You could be a race car driver, an air pilot, a sniper, things that you aren't in real life, right? You're an NBA player, you're an NFL quarterback, you're a first baseman for the Yankees, whatever. It's a matrix. And what video games have become now, especially the bigger games, like, and we're just told, let's just keep it in Call of Duty 2K. They're pretty much the two worst versions of this, right? The two most egregious, and they make the game so big, you don't have room to play anything else. You barely can fit other games on the system, so you're trapped with 2K. You don't have many other options when you put 2K on your system. You can't play 5, 6, 7, 8 games on your PS5. You can probably fit that and maybe 3, 4 other games. 2K is taking half of your space because they don't want you to have options. They don't want you to play other games. They want you to be stuck on their game and keep coming back to it. And then because eventually they know once they got you, they gonna get you. You understand? I don't care if you paying the game, if you got the game for free. They gonna get you. They gonna get some of your money. And they gonna get some more of it too. You understand? Because if they can make the gameplay addictive, it's another matrix. If they can make the gameplay addictive to where people get literally addicted to the game. People are literally addicted to NBA 2K games. This is a fact. Right? People respond like addicts when you critique the game. People that are literally brainwashed into liking this game, into supporting this game, brainwashed. You can't tell them nothing. And when you do say something about the game that makes sense, they will say the most bot NPC pre-programmed response in the comments you ever seen in your life. It's literally like you can literally predict the responses to certain things you say about this game in the comments. You literally know what the response is going to be, right? Oh, you trash, you get dropped off. Oh, you broke, just say that. The same things these dudes say all the time. Oh, you still gonna get the game. Listen, I'm not telling nobody not to get the game. I'm telling you to be responsible. A lot of y'all got things to do. You got bills to pay. You got a life to live. You understand? I gotta be I'm not struggling by any sense of the word, but what I'm telling you is there's no reason that you are spending $800, $900, $1,000 on a video game in a year's time. It should not be that way. That is a matrix. That is a well-designed, crafted lie that you're believing that this is normal. This is not normal behavior. This is not normal consumer behavior on a video game. This is absurd. But you guys, you so caught and brainwashed by the culture of 2K to make you believe that you're supposed to just be frivolous with your money when it comes to 2K. You're broke if you actually try to be like, nah, I'm not spending that. Oh, you're broke. Just say that. You ain't got no money. This is literally like, it's like ignorant programming, like for stupidity. You know what I mean? Like 2K is like very, 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 they're very meticulous about the idea of their consumers being low IQ people, right? They need that because anybody who's witty has a half a brain would look at this and don't see logic. I don't even understand how kids play this. How can a child play 2K? Huh? How can a child without income play 2K? How, as a parent, are you dealing with the conversation of your child coming to you and asking to play 2K? Can you buy me NBA 2K? And you knowing what the game is, You being a father and knowing what 2K is. Like, how do y'all deal with that conversation? Knowing your kid's gonna come to you 2 weeks later for money for VC, and more money, and it's like downward spiral. You can't tell him, yo, just play now, man, it's free. Yo, just play my errors, it's free. No, he want to play in the park, and he want to wear a hula hoop when he's shooting, Santa Claus outfit, But how do you even have that conversation? Like, these conversations are necessary. Gaming is culture. It's life. You understand? It's a part of people's lives. People make content about video games. They living off this stuff. This is not. Video games are a part of people's lives. It is what it is. Just like sports is a part of life. Food, culinary things, restaurants, culture, spirituality. These things are a part of life. Family. It's a part of your life. So there's a part of it that needs to be taken seriously when some of the things that they're doing are negative or predatory. This is not something that you just take lightly. This is serious. You understand? Because if it goes like this now, what else is going to be? They're literally introducing features in the game that are literally telling me that you're going to be able to pay to increase your badges. They're literally trying to incentivize people to buy the battle pass again. They realize the floor setters like, we took the floor setters away, so don't worry about that. But we have something now where you can buy a level up to your badge or whatever the case may be. Sounds like floor setters to me. Sound like a floor setter of some sort. But you can buy your badge upgrade another point or something like that. It's y'all gotta read between the lines. That's all I'm saying. It's like you can't just take everything at face value, yo. And you gotta be able to stand on a principle. A lot of y'all don't got principles, man. That's the problem. A lot of y'all lack a lot of discipline, principles, integrity, and it's like you don't have nothing to stand for, so you fall for whatever. It's like you're not gonna say, enough is enough. You dig me? 2K, sports games in general have been a massive disappointment on next gen consoles. Let's just keep it real. Massive. The things that I thought they would do, they just didn't do. They just didn't. They just saw it as a way to just make the game more bloated, more expensive, more dumb, bigger and dumber. That's how the games got. They've gotten bigger and dumber, more expensive. That's all next gen means. Next gen microtransactions. That's all they thought. Oh shit, next gen shit. Now we can charge more. We can actually make a big city with ads and commercials everywhere and billboards, and we can get ad space from companies like State Farm and Gatorade, and we can just, oh my goodness, potential. That's what they thought. They didn't think nothing about like, man, we could create a gaming engine that is so solid, so fluid, where the game will literally look like real life. Like you couldn't even, if you just looked at it for 5 seconds, you wouldn't even be able to tell that this was a video game. They literally could like do that, right? But they said nah, because we want to make multiple versions of the game. We want to make a PS4 version and a PC version and then they're gonna keep. They don't ever want to put all the eggs into just like going all out on making the best game they can make. And that's the problem. That's the problem. They're not trying to make the best game. They're trying to charge you a premium price for subpar to mid-level innovation, right? With a grandiose marketing scheme to get you to buy the game, to take you into a space where you feel like you need the game, where you almost feel like an addict, or you got the fear of missing out, what's it called, FOMO. They go strong on that. They want you to feel like you missing something. You understand? To where they did something so innovative that you just feel like, I gotta have this game. I gots to buy it. You understand? And me personally, even after making this video, I don't even know if I'm 100%, but as of right now, I've seen nothing about that game that makes me say, well, I can't just keep playing the game I got. I don't even be caring about all the online stuff like that. You know what I mean? None of my boys are talking about getting it. They still in the same space they was last year. Like, man, I ain't getting that shit. They see the trailer, they like, nah, that shit look whack. So it look like it'd be the same situation. Like, nobody want to play it. So what I'm getting it for? I could just play 24 by myself and just keep it pushing. I could play my little My Era season, play a couple of games and be done with it. Like, I'm not invested like that no more. And a lot of people aren't invested in 2K like that anymore. You know what I mean? You're forcing yourself to be, but you're not invested, and you can't stay invested in that game after a month or two. It's only reason people keep playing that game is because if you spend a lot of money, it's like something where you're constantly chasing that dragon to try to get your money's worth. And that's the way 2K's Matrix works. They want you to play the game, spend more money than you should, and constantly be battling uphill to try to feel like you're getting your money's worth. And then you keep repeating the cycle over to like, wow, man, you only playing it because you like, damn, I already spent $400. Shit, I might as well play it. And then what that do? That got people on the game. It looks good to them. It looks like, look, our player count at this time is this many people. And then they can get their investors to keep investing, and the NBA keep supporting it, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. Because you're constantly playing it. But if you didn't invest nothing in the game, right? You got it for free. You got it on sale. You got it on the PlayStation, whatever it is called, where you just get the games after they've been fell off, and you invest nothing in it, and you went straight to My Eras or whatever, and you made your season, you made a player for free, and you played and enjoyed the game for what it is. If you don't like it, you'll delete that shit. Think about it. When you go into the Game Pass and you get a game for free that you just download because you like, I just want to play something new, I don't feel like buying nothing, you just get a game. If you don't like it, do you not delete that game immediately? Right? You delete that game within an hour. If you play it and you're like, nah, you delete that game immediately because you invested nothing. 2K is like, once they get you to a point where you over invested, where you like, I gotta get a return on my investment, you're gonna play that game all year. So it's like, I'm just trying to break this down. I made this video very long, but this is my channel. I do this all the time. A lot of y'all, if you're a 2K player, I'm pretty sure your brain capacity didn't get to this point in the video, which is fine. But this is a channel for a thinking, connoisseur type of channel. We talk about different things. I'm not making this video to, this is not my normal content, but we're talking about gaming and just the idea of it and how it affects men, boys, teenagers, your financial situation. You gotta really be grown about how you approach these video games are getting a little out of control. And you need to have a certain level of principle, integrity, discipline, to when you get these games that you're only going to deal with them in a certain capacity. You're not going to let it you're not going to let these games manipulate you into spending money. This is what it's about. It's about caring about the things that are important and not letting these greedy, subhuman companies in the gaming industry take your hard-earned money, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all working regular jobs. So you working for $15, $20 an hour. $20 for an hour of your life. Right? 2K wants you to give 5 hours of your life for a fake human being basketball player. After you done gave $70, so you can do the math on that. That's if you make $20 an hour, that's 3.5 hours of your life. Right? That's basically a shift at work. 2K wants you to give an 8.5-hour shift at work for their game. 8.5-hour shift at work. A whole day's work for the game and the bill. That's if you make $20 an hour. That's if you make $20 an hour at your job. That's a day's work. You know what I'm saying? That's a day's work, fam. So you gotta don't let 2K mess up your perspective. That's the matrices I'm talking about. The gaming consumer matrix. They want you to be so far removed from the reality of it that you're not thinking when you spend money. You gotta keep thinking. Always keep thinking. Always question everything. Because once you get to that point, you can look at it and stand back and say, once you start looking at things by the price of how much of your life you give up for it, a lot of things you won't buy. If you keep it in mind, especially if you work a 9 to 5. If you make an hourly wage, you should be looking at everything like that. How many hours of your life did you give up for what you just bought that you can't get back on a game that they gonna make another one, and all the money that you spent ain't even gonna count no more, because you ain't gonna want to play the game no more, because they have programmed you to be at a state where you got 2K24 that you lame for having it when 2K25 come out. You understand the matrix I'm talking about? The thinking, the manipulation of it all. All that money, all that life that you done spent, because money is life, right? You got to think about it like that. Money is life. It's the fluidity of how things happen and move. You literally give up your life for money. You give up your time for money. But 2K don't want you to think like that when it come down to this game. They want yours. They don't care about you. So that's the whole point I'm trying to make with this video. Just to think, when it comes to these games, this gaming industry is probably more scummier than the corn industry at this point. At least there's checks and balances in that industry. You can't just go in there just beating girl, dude. You know, somebody will go to jail if it goes too far, right? But in the gaming industry, it's like there's nothing. They can go as crazy as they want. They're literally talking about how GTA, they might do like a subscription, or it's going to be like $150, $200. Like, you understand, if you keep going at this point with 2K and this company in general, they're going to start giving you subscriptions to these games. They're going to start charging you monthly to play these games. You understand? You got to bring these companies back to earth. They're getting a little too big for their britches, as they would say. You got to bring them back to earth. You understand? They already charging you $150 for a version of the game. So you think they wouldn't be like, yo, get a subscription with 2K and you'll never have to buy another 2K again. You understand? You pay $50 $100, $20. You understand where I'm going with this? It could get really out of control. So for you guys that are new to playing 2K or just been playing 2K, you guys that are parents that have children that playing 2K, at least for their sake, you know, have a little self-control. That's all I'm saying. You know, that's all I'm saying. I'm not going to keep going with this. I just wanted to get this off. Shout out to all the content creators that are keeping it honest about 2K, that will tell the truth about it. And there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. If you're going to critique things, you know, everything needs to be looked at, especially when they're asking for your money. It's not about money. Is not something to just be thrown into the ethers, man. It's real. A lot of that money y'all spending on 2K could be spent on a plane ticket for a trip. Some of y'all don't got your passport. It could be a passport. You could, you know, dudes are spending $1,000 on 2K. That could have been a trip to another country. Some of y'all don't got a car. You're riding a bus. I mean, y'all dudes are spending $500, $600, $800 on a video game, man. This could be money you can invest in Take-Two Interactive. You could, instead of buying the game, you could invest in the company. You can invest in AI. You can invest in, you understand? You can actually, instead of buying the game, you can take that money that you would spend on 2K and actually invest in Take-Two Interactive and probably make your money back somehow, right? That's what I'm saying. Just I'm done. I'm gonna leave this at that. If you got to the end of the video, thank you. If you're new, subscribe. My content is not really on 2K, but it might be other things that you might find useful. To everybody that's been a long time supporter, I thank you for even tuning in, even though it's not my typical content, but it is TMT doing what TMT does. Hope you have a blessed night. I'm out. Peace.